Good evening, treasure seekers. This is Blake coming to you live from New Mexico, and joining me as always from Washington State, it's Brennan Cody. How's it going, guys?
Hello. We were just talking about how we're kind of nervous that this is going to be, Blake said, a 24-hour episode. So once this comes out, I mean, you all will know how long this is, but we are going into this blind and slightly nervous.
Slightly nervous is correct. All right, let's just get into it.
No time for banter.
No banter.
I want to banter.
Okay.
I want to banter really quick.
I do
about
too.
World...
I actually, yes. Okay. I have a note in my phone to remember to banter about something specific.
I want to banter about World Cup soccer because, as I was watching today, I had a little exciting moment. I thought, well, how thrilling is it that in TTI we have the chapter about the soccer game, the soccer match, and soccer games are 90 minutes long. Do we think that's a coincidence?
Interesting.
I do think that's kind of interesting because
Sounds
there's like so many specifics in that chapter.
Sounds like that belongs in coincidence of the day, not banter.
Fine. What's your banter, Cody?
I was going to say, reading the Nigerian soccer team chapter, it was before my time and it was cool to read about, but it was hard to like get a true feeling of like how exciting that must have been. But then we watched the Cape Verde versus Argentina game where Cape Verde was like a massive underdog and almost won. And we were getting so excited. And it literally made me think of the Nigeria soccer team chapter. And like, no, it's like if Cape Verde would have done that and then also won like the next 3 games, like just
Nuts.
an insane amount of just like, yeah. So it really put the Nigerian soccer team chapter into perspective and gave me some real life context for it. Like that must have been so cool.
Nice.
Banter complete.
Banter over.
Banter over. My banter is, this is my biannual reminder to subscribe to the channel. That would make me very pleased. And we pride ourselves in only having an ad at the beginning and the end of the entire episode, so we don't throw any ads in there. So hopefully you're not getting ads during the episodes. But anyway.
What do you mean at the end?
There should be one ad at the end of the show and one ad at the beginning of the show before it starts. And that's it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I thought it was just beginning.
Oh, well, you are the technical guru of the YouTube, so maybe it's just at the beginning. Anyway, subscribe to the podcast. We don't emphasize that very often, but if you've been listening regularly and want to support the show, just click the subscribe button. That's all we ask. All right.
Thank you.
A lot to cover today, so let's get into it. We owe everybody a result of the Wasson test. So let me pull up my slides and give everyone some PTSD on this. Let's see here. Wasson. Uh-oh. I don't know if I can find it. Mailbag. Here we go. All right. So lots of comments that we'll be covering today. First from Floydian Slip, patiently awaiting the I survived a Wasson selection task and the chunky butterfly t-shirts in the merch store.
It's the one with the chunky bodies that will get you.
So it's just as a reminder, the Wasson selection test, and we're not going to go in this detail. You can go back and watch Puzzle Corner a few weeks ago. You have 4 cards lying on a table. Each card has a letter on one side and a number on the other. The rule: if a card has a vowel on one side, then it has an even number on the other side. And your task is which card or cards must you turn over to determine that that rule is being followed. And then we have 4 cards, EK 4, 7. Which of the 4 cards do you need to flip to know that that rule is being followed? If a card has a vowel on one side, then it has an even number on the other. And you don't get to think about it. So I I mean, in the real Watson selection test, you do get to think about it, but we've already covered this. You have to flip the E and the 7 to make sure the rule is not being broken. All right, so the results of that in the YouTube comments. Dave Daly was first to say, "Oh, I got it wrong." And then there was 11 thumbs up next to that. So that means there's like 12 people that admitted they got it wrong, including myself. I clicked that. And then G-Doc said, "Okay, I actually got it right, E and 7, so I need to pat myself on the back." And that one had 7 thumbs up. So I don't know if the thumbs up were because other people got it right or they were just congratulating him. So let's assume, I mean, on average, 4 to 10% of people get this right in different studies. Finding Treasure Inside, shout out to Finding Treasure Inside. She has a nice YouTube channel that's just started in the last couple of months. I'll put a link down below. She said, "I got it right, but in all fairness, had I not, it would be a fireable offense since I taught logic and reasoning for 12 years." But there's an interesting nugget in this as well. Converse, inverse, and contrapositive of the conditional statements are all important components. This is what Jon was directing us to do in chapter 9, page 94. Great task for proving this point. So as a reminder, page 94 talks about, I think it's the confirmation bias chapter. First, we take a moment to consciously stop justifying why our current belief is correct. Then we look for all the reasons why our opinion could be wrong. So there's more to that, but just a reminder, that's the Peter Cottontail section. And then Zena Bumblebee said, "Not only did I get it wrong, I wasn't even sure what I was supposed to be doing. I needed more time to work it out," which I agree with. Cody, you kind of came in hot and didn't give enough people time, and I should have controlled that. I apologize. What's up, Jessup? Said, "I got the Watson selection task right." Disclaimer on getting it right, though, I did have to pause the video when the cards were being shown because I couldn't keep a line of thought with all the guesses being fired off by Cody. Cody.
So I'll tell you what was going through my head in real time. I thought it was a trick question. I wanted to sound smart on the internet, so I tried to answer it real quick. And then I realized it wasn't a trick question. And then I got nervous and just started.
Yes. Sounding smart on the internet. That was your first mistake everybody tries to make.
Oh, yeah. Backfired.
I let that ship sail a long time ago.
So anyway, the results were, depending on how you look at it, maybe around 12 people claimed they got it wrong, 13 people claimed they got it wrong, 14 people claimed they got it wrong, and then depending on how you judge these thumbs up, maybe 30 to 40% of people got it right, which is way above average, or for people that just said maybe 3 people got it right. 3 versus 12 is more on par with a traditional study. So anyway, it was a fun exercise.
In our defense, our audience is super smart.
That's correct. If you're listening to Unofficial Podcast. All right. And then one more note. I kind of messed up last episode about attributing the North Star idea. I couldn't remember who had talked about that. And I got a long message from Matthew Hobbies. A lot of put downs to Wisconsin saying Minnesota's better. And he said, "Finally, the last straw, Blake. My chapter 19 analysis on stars highlighted the potential idea of the Dipper North Star reference as the X from the star image in chapter 19. So yeah, he had pointed out there's some stars on this map that he thinks were added in, and one of them kind of looks like the Big Dipper, one of these patterns in the upper right here, and then that would point to the X being Polaris, which would be the North Star. So all credit where credit is due. That was a Matthew Hobbies idea that I like a lot when we were talking about the stars. So my bad, Matthew Hobbies, after he so graciously hosted me on his channel. So I feel bad about that. Make sure you check out Matthew Hobbies. criminally undersubscribed, so subscribe to him as well, please. All right. I think those are my orders of business to start with. Should we dive into horseshoes and hand grenades? Bryn, why don't you kick us off with horseshoes and hand grenades today?
Speaking of trying to sound smart on the internet, disclaimer, these are all things that are like, I don't know, this I'm just saying what's on my mind here. I do not claim to be an expert. I'm sure people who are much smarter than me are going to have some things to say. But I wanted to talk about, at first I called it the electromagnetic spectrum and refraction, but I'm just going to talk about light. Let's just call it light.
Is it a wave or a particle? That's the first question.
Both.
Sorry. Oh, good answer. Okay.
Who sounds smart on the internet?
Just wait till we get to the words we can't pronounce.
Yeah.
What did I say wrong the other day?
I gotta find you.
Shoot, what was I can't remember. Anyways, okay. So Blake's pulling up a couple of my slides right now, and they do look very text heavy, but let me kind of guide you through my thought process here. So I think the electromagnetic spectrum has been on my mind because of, I guess, primarily butterflies and the monarch butterfly, and thinking about like their migration and how they navigate their migration. Some insects being able to see UV light. And so when we were kind of talking the last few episodes about this like invisible force, I guess it made me started thinking about like, well, what are the other like invisible to human parts of the electromagnetic spectrum as well? So this is a little bit of just like me throwing a bunch of stuff and seeing what sticks, but so this is horseshoes and hand grenades, so it's not like it has a bow on it yet. It's just kind of some thoughts that I'd like to throw out there for the community to maybe think through, digest, contribute back to. Hopefully this can spur some thoughts for people. So some quotes that reinforced that maybe this was something of interest was, of course, orders came in slowly at first, but then with more frequency. So frequency being the key word there. And then his blue eyes beamed at me like lasers, of course, was always, very high on our spidey senses. So those both felt like they fit in with the electromagnetic spectrum. So then I went through to see, like, well, what else could possibly fit in with this idea? So if we think of kind of the different themes of like long distance communication and calling that we see throughout the book, it felt like maybe we could categorize radio waves and calling. So a few quotes here. One, they can call forth and wear as easily as a warm, cozy mitten on a cold winter's day. We had the discussion of the blue box in chapter 1. I researched Lauren for a while before I phoned her. I still think that's like such an odd. People, you don't publish that. You don't see you phoned her. If you ever feel discouraged while searching, remember you can aspire for a little help. Call to it. So then circling back to kind of this guiding light idea from last episode, I think it was, when I had talked about in the introduction with fictional flair versus Mother Nature beckons you. So flair being a homophone for flare, like, a light, a guiding light, and then beacon also being a guiding light. In addition to the lighthouse that we have mentioned in the chapter in the book, Art Smith believed in himself was the guiding lighthouse amidst attempts of outside opinions. I'm not reading well today. I'm sorry. So then thinking through what are some other guiding lights outside of a lighthouse, potentially like a North Star. So that goes in nicely with what we were just discussing in that picture. So then if we think about invisible forces, so this is a little off the light topic here, but an invisible force could certainly be a magnetic force, like a compass, if we're thinking through north. And what I really liked here was the monarch butterflies use UV/blue light to activate an internal compass that uses the Earth's magnetic field to navigate. So it's almost like these monarch butterflies have like their own compass system for their migration, which felt really cool with the significance that we potentially think could be in the butterfly based off of that copyright page.
Mm-hmm.
And this is definitely the most stretchy, but thinking about X-rays, if we get down on the spectrum a little bit farther, we had talked about the alpha metropolis. Blake's already laughing at me.
No, I'm not. I'm laughing because I like the connections.
I think the superhero connection is strong in a few places. Like, and that could definitely be maybe something to do with Superman. Okay, this is probably what I'm most excited about right now is refraction. So I can't remember what page it is exactly, but right around page 90 missing, we have a direct quote with refraction. So refraction is the bending of a wave, such as light or sound, as it passes from one material to another. So the quote that we have in the book is, mirrors were hung along the walls as speculums for refracting light to enhance the hallucinogenic vibe. So if we're thinking about bending light, I mean, this also goes back to electromagnetic spectrum and like visible light. It reminded me a lot of the Amelia Earhart quote, love to bend a phrase, if we're thinking about bending light here. And I know we've been talking a lot about angles as well. So I just like the idea of like, there's angles created and bending the light. Carlton's minerals sparkled and gleamed the whole spectrum of the rainbow. So a rainbow is absolutely light refraction. More valuable than those at the end of any rainbow. And then if we think of refraction as like bending light or sound, there's also a couple weird reverberation mentions in the book as well. There's a joy that reverberates in the scamper of our steps when we are heading on our way. Its reverberations shaped America in ways which made it how it is today. So thinking through like how we're physically seen and refraction, then made me circle back to the Jackie Onassis chapter where we have all these camera references, because cameras and lenses are also refraction, right? So light refraction is the process that makes vision possible. As light enters your eye, the cornea and the lens bend the light rays. That's the end of the sentence. Bend the light rays. I'm sorry, I was frantically throwing this together in a way that tried to make sense. I have not read through it yet. Okay, so then if we jump into some examples in the book here, the brain synapse that normally receives an image from my retina, then scoffs at it, had somehow been rent inoperable.
Yeah.
I love that connection. Like how our eye lens is visibly using this light to see an image. And then we'll get into some of the camera connections here. Iconic individuals like Jackie often get observed through the filter of cameras, photos, and news reports, and not by the clear lens of reality. Jackie seemed to travel along each one with her eyes open to the road ahead. Jackie was known for her keen eye for fashion and design. A short time later, she acquired a job at the Washington Times with her own column called Inquiring Camera Girl, away from the paparazzi and out of the public eye. So that's combining both like camera and eye there, like two different lens situations. Jackie came up with a clear vision for what would bring her the most happiness. And then we also had telescopes a couple times. So I would take the tiny telescope I had received for Christmas in my hand, climb up onto the roof of my parents' minivan and set up the tripod, lay down on my stomach and peer up at the planets and stars. Desert flat expanses are still the easiest and most likely place to find a meteor that has landed unnoticed to telescopes. And then I'm sorry, I can't quite read the last. Oh, there we go. I got it. When our eyes to the sky pick up a sizable meteor falling. So I'm sorry, that's a lot to throw out there, but it seems to me like there could potentially be, I for sure love this connection between like refraction and that being able to lump some of these odd things together. But like maybe some sort of broader vision, light. Of course, I love light as a theme. So trying to narrow down what that can actually mean as far as grouping some ideas together.
Yeah, this is a very good collection for the refraction theme. I think we should also point out that chapter 20 has the smoky quartz. This gemstone is a 200 carat smoky quartz cut in a custom design called Beyond Brilliant. And that was a very specific cut to like refract the light further to make it more shiny as well. And I had that little talk of, I don't know, a couple months back about different cuts of diamonds and other gems. So that would be another piece of evidence into the refraction. I don't know. This is a little overwhelming. Like what?
Sorry.
I don't know if we have I don't have a good answer to, let's say, refraction, rainbows, or cameras, other than thinking about how do we associate a place with that. Is there a viewpoint? Is there a rainbow falls like has been talked about? Is there a picture, a photo opportunity, and that all just boils down to this set of clues? It seems a little unsatisfying. I don't know if you have ideas about this.
I really like the idea of like it being an angular change.
Okay.
Because I feel like there could be something that we're supposed to be doing. Because light is such a prominent theme that it just feels like maybe there's some way that that's supposed to be helping us figure out angles. I always go back to the coins, like all those angles on the coins.
The Art Smith image is a little bit angular.
It seems to me that all of this refraction stuff could have a very strong tie to the change in perspective that I think is definitely, I think it's going to be a major part of at least one clue in some way, this idea of changing perspective. It seems like those two could kind of be one thing we're looking for. It's some sort of lens change or refraction in some way that is a change of perspective. But I was going to have the same question of like, how do we take this information and turn it into something helpful in terms of narrowing down on a treasure? And I would agree that like some of those things you mentioned, Blake, I think would be there'd be too many of them. You're not really narrowing down that much if it's like something with a good viewpoint or something that has like those little, I guess the ones with like the viewing telescopes, those aren't all over the place.
That's good one.
Kind of more rare.
But yeah, boots on the ground clues potentially. With those binoculars, I like that idea a lot. But I don't know. This is a really good list of things, Bryn.
And yeah, it's definitely a really good list of things.
I'm just hoping that like it can get some ideas flowing for some other people, I guess.
Yeah.
Just wanted to get some ideas out there and see what we can make of it.
For the radio waves calling, he also gives a call to Alan Antawadi, the antiquities dealer as well. So
nice.
I don't know. I like all of these individually as well as themes. Especially the invisible force. Like, what do we do with that? I like the idea of the magnetism.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Did you mention the sapphire? That's UV light, right?
Oh, yeah.
That'd be in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
And then I'm always a butterfly fan. I think you already mentioned the connection with the butterflies. So I like that connection too.
Yeah.
It's all coming together.
Well,
Well, so I mean, I do feel like, and someone commented something about like, oh, it seems like there's more clues lately. That I think maybe we're speaking to. I don't know if that was like a good or a bad thing, but I do feel like we're kind of. I feel like there's some momentum. Like it feels like we're getting somewhere.
yes.
Personally.
Yeah, I have that in the mailbag as well to discuss. So the interesting comment. All right, cool.
Yeah, it seems like.
Go ahead, Cody.
I was just going to add on to that. It seems like we're kind of shaking out some of these specific ideas. And then the more we talk about them, the more we can find kind of some connections between different ideas. And it's kind of funneling down, ideally, more connections between these kind of nodes.
Yeah, I'm definitely feeling more positively about the hunt right now. Except for this horseshoes and hand grenades, which is too much information. I don't know what to do with it. Really good. Really good. Food for thought. All right. Well,
Yeah.
hopefully more to come on one or more of these topics as we digest a bit more. But really good set of information there, Bryn. All right. I will do a couple of quick ones if I can find the right PowerPoint. Let's see here. Villes. This one's called Villes. I was doing some looking into the measurements. There was a couple, like, the one that's really thrown me off a couple of times now is the mention of where Seth Gold lives in Bakersville. And when JCB is talking about Japan and 6,000 nautical miles east of Japan to Asheville, and Asheville is like out of the blue, right? There's no other mention of Asheville, North Carolina. Why does he say Asheville? And then 40 miles northeast of Asheville is Bakersville, where Seth Gold lives. And so I confirmed that on Google Maps. I know this is very small, but it's about 35.8 miles as the crow flies from Asheville to Bakersville. So that was an accurate measurement ish. And then I was like, why Asheville? Why Asheville? And then Asheville to Bakersville, they both have Ville in common. So there's like Ville to Ville. And then that reminded me that there was also Nashville, which in the chapter, this was the Wilma Rudolph chapter where it mentions Nashville, where she would go for hospital treatment from Clarksville. So interestingly, there's a Clarksville to Nashville, which was, I want to say 50 miles described in that chapter, which was like an hour bus ride. And then Asheville, which has always been the weirdest one to me, to Bakersville, which was about 40 miles. So Ville to Ville, I know, whatever Ville is a very common town name, but it felt like a Spidey Sense moment to me. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's a great pickup.
So again, I don't know what to do with that other than I tried to find more Villes and I could not, but I don't know, both of the instances within 10 miles of each other in terms of distance traveled and the reason why JCB mentioned Asheville in the book has always been a mystery to me. So maybe a connection there.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that a lot. I'm going to have to give that some thought.
Thanks. Then I did do the measurement of 6,000 nautical miles from Hakone, Japan to Asheville. And that was also correct, although the path is not what I would have pictured in my mind, where this is like going from Hakone, Japan over Alaska. So this is like the most direct route. Because in my mind, I was always thinking like directly east, 6,000 nautical miles east to Asheville from Hakone. or from Japan, I would have just pictured like on my flat map going across on the same like line of latitude, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's so in this case it's 6,749 miles, which is about 6,000 miles, which is about 6,000 nautical miles. That's a correct conversion. 6,000 nautical miles is about 6,900 regular miles. Then I was thinking, like, why use nautical miles, right? And it's what planes use, supposedly. This is from Google AI Assistant. Yes, planes use nautical miles for navigation. This standard is favored worldwide because 1 nautical mile equals exactly 1 minute of latitude. I didn't know that it had to do with lines of latitude is why you'd use a nautical mile instead of a standard mile. This makes calculating distances, plotting coordinates, and tracking routes alongside the Earth's curvature much easier. So this kind of ties back into what we had talked about before with like minutes and seconds in GPS coordinates, having certain distances, but this kind of ties up that loop a little bit more, I would say.
I think, that feels like a big confirmation.
Right. And then, while nautical miles and knots dictate navigation and speed, and I don't think it's on here. Oh, aircraft speed is measured in knots, which means exactly 1 nautical mile per hour. So a knot is a nautical mile per hour, which also I thought was interesting. And so then I was like, okay, what are all the synonyms of knots? Because I cannot find the word knot in the book, but I could find a bend, which you had just mentioned. A bend is a type of knot. Anyway, this was a little bit of a rabbit hole that I was like trying to find pointers to knots or nautical miles. I know we have fathoms in the book, so that makes me think more of like ocean and sea. But anyway, I thought this was some fun trivia to throw out there in case it stirs up ideas.
I really like that. I think I need to like wrap my head around how it can come together more big picture, but it definitely feels like this is, a big confirmer of a lot of the things we've been talking about.
My headphones might die soon, so I have to figure out how to plug them in. So I'm going to be a little distracted, but I'll try to do one more. And then if I can't hear you, I'm just going to panic and you guys have to talk.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Let's see. And then another comment, and we're getting to the mailbag a little bit early here. Whoops. 1 second. Share this again. This is a different mailbag topic, but Taichi the wise guy, he said, Blake, well, I like this first part, so I'll talk about it first. Blake, you asked Cody if he thought you were crazy with your chapter 1 to 22 connections. So this is the beginning of chapter 1 where JCB is talking about his son having the bright blue laser eyes and having the marker drawing a treasure map, and 22, which is the Picasso chapter where it talks about Pablo Picasso as a baby asking for a pencil. And I must admit, I usually think you're pretty crazy, to be honest. Cue the muted Jonathan Frakes montage and the adamant opinion of there being other Pokemon hiding in the purple image. I don't think that's crazy. Okay. But not here. In fact, I'll piggyback off you here, as just last week I found a separate connection between these two chapters. And then I'll share an idea about Lapiz. Yes, Lapiz is Spanish for pencil, but what about Lapis, as in lapis lazuli? It's blue, and his son's eyes were blue lasers, lazuli. Another very strong connection between the two chapters. So what do you guys think about that?
I like
I
it a
had
lot.
also picked this out as a mailbag, so I'm glad we're discussing. You go ahead, Cody.
I was gonna say I like it, and I actually remember thinking of lapis lazuli when I first heard the lapis or pencil in the book because it's a thing in Minecraft. The lapis lazuli, but I think because it's a thing in Minecraft, I was like, that couldn't possibly be anything. But I just didn't take the time to think more logically about it outside of Minecraft. And yeah, that actually is a really good connection. The blue part, yeah, huh?
It gets crazier.
Ooh,
So when I was doing the translation of lapis, pencil in Spanish, the synonym came up for pencil of the noun, which is Haz, H-A-Z. And Haz is a word that means, I'm sorry, it means beam. So a synonym of the Spanish word pencil, Lapiz, a synonym for that is Haz, and Haz translates into beam, B-E-A-M. Is that a coincidence or not?
That's crazy.
That is crazy, right?
And this will get into another mailbag, but we do need to talk about the differentiation between pencil and marker in that chapter. So I think that, this is all a good argument for like, why was this, why is it the two different mediums, I guess.
Right.
my only concern about this is it's so good. It's like starting to feel like JCB would have to be a genius to have come up with it.
Yeah, that's
to think about like synonyms in other languages and then how to construct two different sentences where you're.
But it's always been a mystery of bright blue laser beams.
Right? Oh yeah.
And this would be one explanation or one additional connection that you make towards translation being an interesting nugget to pull a thread on.
No, I think it's a very strong connection. That's what worries me is it's like so strong. I feel like it'd be difficult to come up with.
Right.
So you should look into some of our French words. I love the connections we made with like these French words all relating to like a conclusion. But we could kind of do a similar experiment to see if there's any oddities or coincidences that show up with translations.
Yeah, the French. I have a presentation on French, and I think I have 4 slides of the longer presentation I'm going to show today because I did find an interesting French connection this weekend as well. So, anyway, this is all kind of woo-woo, I think, but it was a goosebumps moment, right? It gave me chills when I found beam in a translation.
That's awesome.
Now, kind of an argument against, I would say. So, blue laser beam, I could translate into Haz de laser azul. So there's Haz, but then when I typed the whole sentence, his bright blue eyes beamed at me like lasers. It did not translate into the word Haz.
I wouldn't take that as gospel, though. I'm sure that when you're translating things between languages, that there's a lot of ways to use different synonyms, and that's not just like the only way of saying it in another language.
Okay. Right. So anyway, I'm feeling better and better about the connection between chapter 1 and 22, especially because somebody that thinks I'm crazy didn't think that was crazy. Tai Chi. Okay. Yeah. I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about there so far.
You've been finding some good stuff lately.
Thanks.
Just put your holiday weekend to good use.
Just wait till the French stuff. I'm very excited about that nugget too. So it's not that great, but it's kind of cool. All right. I guess we'll dive into the mailbag.
Mailbag. We've got mail.
Bryn, do you want to kick us off? I have a lot of mailbags, and I'll let you pick through the ones you want to talk about first, and then I'll cover the rest.
Cool. Yeah, I just have 2 flagged. So the first one, which I was just alluding to, is from Dr. R Squared. He said, hello, chapter 22, marker feels intentional. According to Wikipedia, markers may be not invented, or at least named until the 1900s.
Interesting.
So we should have totally talked about this at the time too, but like it is so weird that he's asking for a pencil and then it's just like, well, we're going to hand him a marker. Like, of course there's something there, right? If nothing else, for the sake of the story, you would just hand him a pencil, or he would have been asking for the marker instead. So I really like, the connections you just made with pencil. I also think it's very interesting that marker can be is like a very physical boots on the ground thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's a lot more to dissect with that.
Yeah, it feels just like another way to connect chapter 1 to 22, where JCB's kid has a pink highlighter, and then the Picasso, they hand him a marker. I mean, come on. Good.
Okay, next one is from Stacy Toon. Stacy Toon is playing games with my heart. Said, hitched, towing, station wagon, etc. Keep going and think about other things that relate. You are close. Oh my gosh. I've been thinking about this for like at least 6 months. So I'm happy to hear that Stacy Toon has found a common thread or like some sort of explanation for all of these themes that I've latched onto. So I'm going to keep thinking. I will keep thinking.
Excellent. Okay. I have to talk about French right now because of Stacy. And I'm so unorganized today. I apologize. I'm going to have to flip through some slides really quick. But I got the quote, Cody, because, well, actually it's in the mailbag. Okay. Do you have other mailbags, Bryn?
That's it.
Okay. Very good.
I knew you had some of the other ones covered.
Yeah. There. Okay. Sorry, everybody. I'm in shambles right now. Okay, so let's do this mailbag first. Pun pictures. So we had the question about the quote where we did a what's more likely, Cody, about whether quotes in the book are important or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to pull the exact quote from the JCB interview thanks to Pun Pictures. So thank you, Pun Pictures. He talks about the quotes in the AT, the Appalachian Trail episode of the American Treasure podcast. So I was able to use Stacy Toon's quote finder tool, which I will post a link to below. Stacy Toon has made a shared Google Doc or a shared Google table that you can type in any word and it finds that word in every JCB interview. So extremely valuable. And then I listened back to the full section here. This is JCB speaking. Look, there's a lot of quotes in the book, and some of them were picked for different reasons. Some of them were just picked because I loved the quote. Some of them are a little bit humorous, tongue in cheek. Some of them have maybe more significance. But with this particular box, all you need is the treasure map when talking about the Appalachian Footpath box. So there you go, Cody.
Perfect.
All right. And then this segues nicely into the French discussion. So we'll just have it now. Again, I'm very unorganized today. I apologize how this was all going to come together. But here's my revelation. Here's a quote from Paul Broca. The least questioned assumptions are often the most questionable. Paul Broca. And Paul Broca was a French physician, anatomist, and anthropologist, best known for his research on Broca's area, the region of the frontal lobe that is named after him. Broca's area is involved with language. So, interesting connection to the French words that there's a French scientist that studied the brain area associated with language. I think this is a pointer and an important quote, not just one that's tongue in cheek.
Nice find.
Really good, yeah. That's fishy.
Yeah, I love just like the connection to like how the brain works. I know we've been making those connections as well.
Right. And so kind of the French words that I've locked in on are the voila, as we know, the denouement, and the fiat accompli. And then I said, what is the connection into my Claude AI? What's the connection between those three French phrases? The obvious answer is all three are French expressions adopted wholesale into English and accents often intact. I don't know if I believe that there. I don't think I've never used fait accompli or denouement before. The more interesting answer is they're all words about completion and revelation, the moment when a thing is finished and shown. So I feel like, I don't know, at the end of the treasure hunt, at the place you're ending at is somewhere near like a French city, a French name, a French named lake, a French named mountain peak, something like this, that all three of these French words meaning the end or revelation has to have some very important meaning.
I love that.
So that's where I stand on the French right now. And then I've been going through and looking for other French words, but that will be a longer presentation later.
So now we just need Claude to make us a list of every single place in the US that has a French name.
It's going to be a lot.
That is beautiful. A beautiful place with a French name.
Right. Okay. Cul-de-sac. A little preview. That's French.
See, this is what I was saying when I feel like we're making good.
Everyone's got to subscribe to the YouTube.
Wait, cul-de-sac. Would cul-de-sac also mean end too? Because that's kind of what it is, right?
Yeah. Okay. Ooh, you get a bonus slide. All right.
Cody, nice, Cody.
A bonus slide.
Yeah, you have more that you're holding out on?
I do. They're not that good. So cul-de-sac is a French loanword that literally translates to bottom of the bag. I did not know that. Cul-de-sac. Historically, English speakers also used the less flattering terms dead end or blind alley, but real estate developers and architects gravitated towards cul-de-sac because it sounded sophisticated and emphasized the secluded nature of the layout. So yes, dead end. Very good, Cody. All right. That's all the French you guys get today.
I love it. See, yep, it's good. This is good. We're making progress. We're connecting dots.
I was going to say the same thing. This is the kind of thing where it feels like we're making this slow progress.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're still in mailbag. Let me cover some other things. From Sunny August, as for the cowboy riding a lightning bolt, how about Montana's lightning cowboy? Maybe he gave the answer to the state in the intro. He says it's not about folklore. Maybe it's just where to start your map, Montana. And then some Sean guy, and I apologize, Cody, you were correct. It is some Sean guy, not some guy Sean, like I was saying. My bad. Some Sean guy, our most friendly nemesis right now. Check out his videos on Idaho. They're very good. Pecos Bill would be my pick for the wild cowboy riding a lightning bolt. In the folklore, he literally rides a horse named Lightning. I think that's who you're referring to. And then I think somebody else in the comments, and I'm missing it here, said that the cowboy riding a lightning bolt could also be a reference to Forrest Fenn, who might have had a horse called Lightning as well. So just throwing that out there. I'm not up to date in my Forrest Fenn lore, though.
So I don't have the mailbag right with me, but someone else had written in about that a while back, saying that making the forced fan connection with that lightning bolt. And I liked the connection because it's about inspiration, right? And we know that JCB is getting this inspiration ultimately from the forest fen hunt.
That would make sense. Okay. Like that idea. Different topic. 73 Aquarius says, to support the palm reading idea. Page 9, John says, attention grabbing headline. And headline was one of the palm lines that we had. So that was a good nugget. And then Matt Payton says, reset the episodes since Cody says macroscopic. Counter 0. I have to throw some sick burns in here too. I love this.
Every time I say that word, and I say it at work pretty frequently too, and I'm always like, this is not a good word. I don't even, it's a real word, right? I think it's a real word.
Oh yeah, totally.
I just use it too much, but every time I try and think of a synonym for it, I can never think of one. Like, what's a good word for the opposite of like something super detailed? Like something
a 36,000 foot
36,000.
I've used that one a handful of times, and then I feel like I'm overusing that one. And then also, if I use it at work, no one's gonna know what I mean by 36,000 foot view.
Yeah, but you could just snicker to
big
yourself.
Picture.
What's a good word? Yeah, big picture.
Zoomed out.
Big picture. Hey, big picture is like
Big
mural.
picture.
Is that a connection with our mural theme?
All right, I'll say big picture, or I'll try to say that more. But yeah, it's funny. It's funny that someone picked up on that, because I feel like every time I say it, especially at work, I'm like, I wish I just cannot think of a better word to use than this. I don't like using this word. It's a weird word.
All right, some other quick hitters.
Also, stop being mean to me online.
No,
okay, but
everybody loves you.
How about the unsolicited comment that they liked your painting better than mine?
And then
that was my favorite of the week.
Somebody just says, I like Cody best. That was unsolicited as well. So you have too much love. So we have to take you down a peg. Sorry, Cody. Another note from Past and Future Box from Neanderthal Jesus Band. Hey Blake, was wondering if you had made any progress on the Knight's Journey. So this is the idea of using the knight movement of a chess piece on the word search that you can share. Well, I haven't been working on that. I've been very excited about Lion Share, so I'm glad I inspired somebody. They said I worked on it a bit, starting from the G rail, and was able to spell out go west until I kind of stalled. Love the podcast and have listened to every episode. Oh, and hi, Brandon Cody.
Hi.
So no, I haven't been working on the Knight's Journey. I'm glad you have. I need to get my tool back out and see if I can replicate the go west. I like that idea. I like that find. Very nice, especially because it starts on the G, the lone G. And go would be a nice Monopoly connection, I feel. Anyway, cool find. I'm going to poke around with that a little bit. Information overload, TTI. Thanks for the shout out. And I apologize for not getting to that content. I will today. I still think the editor, Dawn, is ChatGPT. I like that idea. I like that idea a lot. But
I'll have to reread the Dawn stuff with that in mind and see how it feels. It's an interesting thought.
I could not find a famous reference. I think we've talked about this before. Maybe it's just in my mind, but I tried to do research of like a news article or something that prominently said this book was a #1 bestseller and was edited by an AI tool or ChatGPT, but I was not able to find that article. Because remember, he says, Dawn, my editor was edited a #1 bestseller, right? That would be like a piece of evidence. And that would have been in like 2022, 2023 timeframe, I feel. I just couldn't find the evidence for that. But I do like that idea. Yeah, Charles Chapman says the rub therein is that you have to examine every word, but not every word. Usage, definition, synonym, or etymology is a clue. Discernment must be balanced with discovery. as with all potential clues. So a good reminder. I'm cognizant of this as well as I do my like text finds in the ebook, and it's like probably not quite what was intended by JCB. So a good reality check here that not every etymology is going to mean something in every word. There's, remember, 50 clues in the book. Mm-hmm. That's a good reminder. All right. This is another tease. So stop teasing us, everybody, such as Stacy Toon. User PZ1YE3TP4C says, I am so waiting for you guys to figure out the magnifying glass symbols. Every time you bring them up, I want to tell you so bad. And Chucky DeMouse, my favorite, Chucky DeMouse, he says, I'm listening. And then the user says, I can't tell, I'm in the race now. And if I give a clue about the artifacts, so many others will catch up to me. Possibly surpass me. I'm sorry. So don't tease us with your magnifying glass symbols.
In all fairness, that is a very fair and valid comment.
Of course, yeah. But don't tease us like that. You just keep that to yourself. All right. Andrew,
well, I'm happy that someone has found a use for them. That is optimistic.
To be clear, if someone found something with something we're talking about, I would prefer that they say that they found something, even if they don't want to tell us, because it tells us like, we might be on the trail and not to give up on it.
Okay.
But no teasing.
Me and Chucky the Mouse want to know.
I want to know too, but I guess I'm saying if there's something there, I don't want to be like, oh, just don't say anything at all, because we might give up on the idea.
Okay, that's fair. Andrew Howe, this is the comment you referenced earlier, Bryn. Is it just me, or does it feel like all of a sudden they are subtly subtly adding tons of hints in episodes? It feels like things have changed with these last 2 episodes. I don't know. This is just from my perspective where I am within the hunt. So yeah, I agree with this. Like, I feel like we're making some good progress as we're alluding to the last few episodes and starting to close gaps on certain things. So it's very exciting times for us right now.
Yeah. I feel like by no means are we like close to solving this. Like, there's so many things to connect, but I feel like we're at least starting to pull some ideas together, which is a win all around.
Agreed. All right, now let's do Wisconsin talk. A couple ideas on cornucopia, which I liked. Bronco Blue says a cornucopia is also known as the Horn of Plenty. Settlers of Catan. Horn theme, antler theme, goat theme. Excellent connection. I like that a lot. Rah says, with all the mirror reflection talk in the book, you can use looking in the mirror as a double U. W for Wisconsin connection or Washington State.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that. My Scatty, episode 56 caught me by surprise by mentioning Marathon County since it's my hometown. But this week I couldn't stop laughing at every mention of things around my county, hometown, and Blake even said my exact city. Wausau. And then like my Scatty is giving me a pronunciation and then gives 2 more impossible words that don't provide. Its origin is Ojibwe, word meaning a faraway place. I grew up on a 160-acre farm, which was the standard size from the days of the Homestead Act. You mentioned square mile at one point, which reminded me that as kids, we always joked that a country block was a mile. One interesting connection that now jumps out at me is that the Lenape tribes originally lived here on the East Coast, New York, Pennsylvania, and Massachusetts, but now live in Wisconsin. So cool connection there. All right. And then Dr. R Squared gets an encore here. haven't made it to the end yet, but for Wisconsin, the collage in chapter 16 is arranged like the state. And one image is a cornucopia of soccer players, including those who play the forward position with a laughing, sweating emoji. And then
He gotcha.
Yeah. And then we had talked about Tai Chi the Wise Guy before, about the pencil. And then we had talked about the Collins Valentine line, which is also on the 45th parallel. Also, Blake, doesn't the Fabergé clock egg show a time of 2:14? I always assumed this was a clue towards Valentine's Day. Yes. We asked,
Nice.
and the audience came through with the Valentine's connection. Very nice.
That's really good. I like that a lot.
Yes. All right. And then Lisa Cesari, a plan, a love story, a note, the molten tone of a tune. I thought that was an interesting connection. And then
love story,
and then there's some discussion about the Egyptian faience necklace and the path it forms near West Yellowstone, Montana. Lion's share box clue, maybe. Where would the leopard bead go? Where it, as the Madison River is, true alpha was William Marvin Fenn Sr. Meow. I feel like there's a lot in that comment that I don't know, but readers and listeners, you can check that out. But maybe there's a trail or a path near West Yellowstone that fits the faience bead pattern, which would be interesting. All right, last one, I promise. Enigma 1287 said, reread the book and found about 20 references to Wisconsin or the people in Wisconsin. Combine that with your theory of Athens. I looked up trails in Athens as it is small. One of really two walking trails there is Odyssey Trail. Book took place in ancient Greece. I live 30 minutes from there, heading out this afternoon. Yay.
Nice. Assertive boots on the ground. Love it.
And then we talked about seals. Lisa says sales, S-A-L-E-S. Remember in the chapter 2 where he spells out sales, anagrams to seals. And some Sean guy confirmed that he was thinking that could be an anagrammed word to seals, and we have to look at the state seals. So cool connections there. All right.
Love it.
Heavy mailbag, but lots of good comments that I wanted to cover. All right. Should we talk some Discord detectives? All right. We will start with... We might have to rename this to like YouTube detectives because I haven't been doing a lot of Discord comments lately. I apologize, but good content out there right now on YouTube. Treasure Hunt Travelers had a nice discussion about headwinds. And Bryn, I know you had another connection that maybe you're willing to share as well. So let me recap the Treasure Hunt Travelers just really quickly. Be sure to check out the episode. I'll have a link below. They found a little bit more evidence and maybe a coincidence, I don't know, about the 36,000 foot view being related to a westerly direction. Let's see if I can find my right window here. I apologize, everybody. Okay, here it is. So the hint that Laura found was right in the section of chapter 2 where they're talking about 36,000 foot view. She found, and those headwinds would be the prevailing winds. That would be the term for that, right? The jet stream, the prevailing winds are in a west wind, meaning it's blowing west to east. When you flip the page right in the section of 36,000 foot and head on, the next quote is with a keen eye for details, one truth prevails. So prevailing wind prevails is lined up directly after in the book with 36,000 foot view and head on. Is that a coincidence or not?
I love that.
That's pretty sweet.
They Treasure Hunt Travelers found that?
Yes. Laura
That's
from
awesome.
Treasure Hunt Travelers. And
Oh, I love her.
they even make the argument that JCB would have added some extra words to get that to line up. And I recommend you listen or watch that podcast for the full details. But I know you had another finding about the 36,000 foot view wind as well.
Yeah, so this is unrelated. I haven't watched their video yet, and I'm so excited to. I texted you guys this a couple days ago. I said, I don't know why it's just hitting me now, but lift me up on wings is also related to wind since you take off into a headwind. Lift is also the force that directly opposes the weight of the plane, which feels like a good physics/mass connection.
Nice. In the acknowledgement section, lift me up on wings also could be a pointer to this as well. So now there's too many pointers.
Ooh. We're really honing in on this bad boy.
All right. Here we go. And then the other Discord detectives that I skipped over last week because we were going a bit long was from Information Overload. So I feel like Information Overload on YouTube is a must-watch channel. Highly endorsed. The main one that you must watch is the AI for treasure hunting, the null test, if you're doing the past and future box, because that's the one that talks about the probability of finding words via boggling. If you're doing the word search, you have to watch that video. So totally recommend that. And then there was a new video out from Information Overload, and it looks like I didn't advertise it correctly. My apologies, but it's like, sorry. It's about like doing an analysis of the entirety of the mysterious writing. There's treasure inside Discord channel, and there's some interesting factoids and graphs that the AI made associated with that. So, and these are publicly available. I have the links down below for this slide deck, which is super long. I just picked a few of them out. And then also you can download the raw data in JSON format in case you want to do your own analysis with the download of the mysterious writings. There's treasure inside Discord channel. So just some basic stats. There's 191,000 messages, and there's treasure inside on mysterious writings at the time of this analysis. And you can see kind of the peak when the book is released. And then interestingly, there's another peak once the 1-year interview with JCB at Seeking Treasure Con took place. Increase in traffic on the Discord. This is what I found very interesting, was the conversation shifting between boxes. So you can see the Appalachian Footpath box, which I actually didn't know that one is like extremely popular and being talked about a lot, historically and currently. But interestingly, the Pokemon box was not as talked about historically over the last year and a half, and then has really kind of grown its market share in terms of discussions. Interestingly, the past and future box, it was huge for the first like week or two, big last summer, and then it's kind of really tapered off in terms of conversations, which I find super interesting.
Yuck.
Yuck.
Everyone's too discouraged with past and future pups.
I think, yeah, the two things that really jump out as very surprising are the past and future box being so slim at the end there recently, even though we're kind of doing the same thing in a lot of ways.
It is, yeah.
And then how little share the Fen boxes had throughout the whole treasure hunt. I
Right.
found that very surprising. I thought them would be a much bigger chunk.
Right. So this is a pretty interesting proxy for potential popularity of boxes, I would argue. And that's kind of what I'm trying to take away from it. But I'm also kind of shocked by this. And then in terms of trends, Lion's Share is like trending upward in terms of discussions. Fenbox is also trending upwards in the last few weeks. Pokemon a little bit, and then yeah, you can see Past and Future Box is still shedding people right now. This was interesting. April 20th, 2024, as soon as like this is pre-book release. And the website for There's Treasure Inside was up. This is April 20th, 2024. And then Jenny from Mysterious Writing said there's treasure inside website, treasureinside.com. On that website, this map is behind the treasure chest, probably decorative. And then within minutes, MB Cache inspected the source code and found a second darker version of the map. Gudley F traced it to a Shutterstock image of London. Jenny wondered if the misdirection was deliberate. So like within minutes of them posting, it had already been figured out that that was a map of London on JCB's website, which is awesome. And then we have the book drop. Messages per day peaked at November 18th. Here is a rarefaction curve to show how many unique users have have posted on the Mysterious Writings boards. You can see it's still growing. Different channels and how many messages are on each. So the Appalachian Footpath box, as I said, I didn't realize that one was so dense, but 76,000 messages on there compared to 42,000 on the Past and Future. And Fen box is only 8,000 messages.
It'd be really interesting to know if the Little Rock Pond thing never lined up, what those numbers would have looked like. Because I got to imagine that the Little Rock Pond map lining up accounts for half of the interest in Appalachian Footpath box, if not more.
Interesting. Okay. Past and Future box, you can see how it's kind of tapered off in terms of messages per user. Different theories on where the Past and Future box could be. So California versus Tennessee, like very popular theories in terms of mentions early on, and those have really dropped off, as you can see. Now, this analysis isn't all that great, I think, because I feel like you should be asking like Tahoe versus Ohio, not California versus Tennessee, but this is the AI, right? Kind of some new emerging theories. People getting frustrated about the word search having 0 of 5 clues being solved kind of turned a lot of people off. Then we have the
that's fair.
Pokemon box, which is kind of peaked, dropped. So it's a little bit more steady, I would say, than the Past and Future box. Different Arkansas theories. So you can see Eureka Springs has started to grow in popularity, Buffalo River being mentioned, and Jasper all being discussed more recently in the Pokemon box. Here's the volume leader, the Appalachian Footpath box. Just a lot of users and messages steady throughout the hunt. And then Little Rock Pond versus Vermont. An interesting so here you can see Cody, the Little Rock Pond being mentioned so much and then dropping off and then coming back. Versus Vermont. The Fen box is small but intense. And then there's, I don't know what this Echo Park is. Obviously, I'm not following the Fen box very much, but it had a pretty big spike in October, December of 2025. And Yellowstone is always being mentioned and still being mentioned, even though we know it's not there. But again, this is AI probably pulling the wrong context for why people are talking about Yellowstone. And then the lion's share has been steadily growing, which is interesting and kind of follows our trend as well, personally. Right. Not that one. This one was kind of funny. People that have posted every week in the Discord. And I recognize most of these folks, except for Gerg. I don't know Gerg from the Discords. And that's because Gerg only talks about the Appalachian footpath box. Which I don't follow. So Gerg only has ever posted in the Appalachian footpath box. This one's kind of funny. The good luck charms. So the amount of times people post the clover emoji, meaning they're wishing somebody luck for going boots on the ground. So you can see how optimism is early in the spring, and then it kind of tapers off throughout the rest of the year. And because of St. Patrick's Day.
Funny.
The analysis of positivity versus frustration. The argument here is that people are still being very positive about the hunt compared to being negative. The positive is still outweighing the negative in terms of positive keywords that the AI has identified. Right. That is information overloads data. He has a whole video on it. The post link will be below, and then also the link to download the entirety of the presentation, which is like 150 slides. You can go through all this data. Anyway, I thought this was a cool perspective on how to look at a macroscopic view of the hunt.
Nice.
I really like that.
Right. I think that's all of our normal content for today. Now we're going to talk about clue tiers. Cody, do you want to introduce this topic for us?
Yeah. We're doing so like 6 months ago, we did a tier list where we basically talked about some of our leading theories and ranking them in some way of like what we're most confident in, what we're least confident in. I think it's good because, well, I think we're very positive people and we like a lot of things. And so it's hard, I think, for maybe ourselves and like as we're talking to each other and then also the audience to kind of get a feel for what we're really most excited about and what we think is most likely versus some other things that we think are cool ideas, but maybe not as likely to result in like treasure being found. So we did kind of a pretty simple scaled back one, probably about 6 months ago. And now we're going to do it again today with a few more things and then also kind of dressed up a little bit more because I used some AI to make it look pretty.
Razzle dazzle.
Yeah. So we can introduce it here. I'm going to share my screen. All right. So this is the tier list, the TTI unofficial clue tier list.
Woohoo!
Lion's share. This is specific to lion's share. We're going to go through, I think, like 22 different, somewhat specific, like parts of the book that we've identified as potential clues and talk about if we think it is, more or less likely than something else. This will be kind of a relative to each other thing. And then last time I had formatted it so that the different tier lists, it was kind of like what our response would be if it turned out that clue was not like intentional or part of any solve. And so I had like little phrases. And on this one, we're keeping it more vague, just S, A, B, C, D. So it'll be a lot more of like in relation to each other. What do we think is more likely to be part of a clue? What do we think is less likely? And I think a lot of times when people do tier lists for things, because I think it's a pretty popular thing to do in general, they'll just like put them in the column. But I do want to make sure that we go, let's do left to right. So if it's further left, we think it's more likely than one right. And we'll end up like ranking all of them. Let's come to some sort of consensus here. And then Bryn, do you real quick want to explain what SABCD means?
Yeah, you need to tell people what this rigmarole is. Not everybody knows what S is, please.
I mentioned that because Bryn asked about it before the podcast started when I was showing her
Well,
this
you and
template.
Blake were just discussing this as if this is commonplace.
It is.
It is commonplace.
You don't do tier lists on the internet?
So what is
Gamer-
that? S is
So
special?
the ABCD is pretty self-explanatory, but in gamer culture, there's just an S above the A, which is like even better than the A. And I had it in my mind it stands for like special or something, but I don't know what it is.
It's like
To
See,
be
even
honest
you
with
guys don't
it's like
know.
a Japanese ranking system, but if you do really good in Dance Dance Revolution, you get an S grade, not an A. S is the best.
Yes.
All right, well, maybe I'm just out of the loop.
You're not in gamer culture.
I'm not.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and kick it off and see how this goes. I've got, I think, 22 here to go through.
Wow.
So let's pull the first one. First one is fire/light. I think this is one that Bryn really likes. You want to endorse the idea, Bryn?
Yeah.
I'm just.
I think the way we should be discussing it, especially for the first few, before we can talk about them relative to each other. I think we should be saying. So the question is, how likely do we think it is that when the solve is revealed, that there is a component of a clue that specifically has to do with fire and light? In my mind, I think it's pretty low. I'd put it in like C tier. I would if they came out the list of 50 clues and none of them had to do specifically with fire or light, I would not be like jumping up and down like, oh, what the heck? It was obvious.
So you got to remember how strong some of his things are in the introduction pertaining to light. Like where we keep saying like, oh, it's here, it's so impactful because it's in the introduction. Where this is like where he's setting up themes.
A moth to a fiery flame.
My counter argument would be, okay, so not for moth to a fiery flame, but for a lot of the introduction stuff would be that prose having to do with light is pretty common. Like for a writer to use, like it would be common language, common metaphors. So I think if you take a whole book, if you take any book, I think you're going to find a lot of connections to light, a lot of references to light. Sparkle. Then again, your slide was pretty good this morning, or not this morning, earlier this episode.
The YouTube comments are going to come for you.
Sparkle even as you pine. It's in the haiku. All right. A light refract. Let's move it up to B. I kind of also think it's a little bit lower, but we just had a nice presentation from Bryn about the connections of refraction.
Yeah. I'd be more.
It will ignite with the flame of starlight. You guys.
But you can see how in a whole book, keep in mind, this is going to be competing with things like the missing page 90. And it's like so clearly like levels below that.
It's just because.
So clearly.
Yeah.
So let's set expectations. Like even if it's a D tier, it's still very likely could be a legitimate clue. It's just like.
Okay.
Yeah. Everything to even have made the cut to be on the tier list, it's something that we think is like we'd be looking for it on the list of 50 clues somewhere.
Right.
Okay. I'm fine with B. B is fine.
Okay.
Next.
And we can adjust these as we go through more of them too. So
definitely. Next is music.
Yeah, I mean,
and this is specific to Lion's Share. Keep that in mind as well too.
Right. So I'm of two minds. One is like JCB is a musician for the majority of his life, like, and a large part of that being a professional musician. So I feel like it has to be in there. The counterpoint is I've never found great clues that are musically inclined. I mean, I'm always looking for the motif, right? But It hasn't materialized for me yet. So I have to put this very low because I just don't see it yet, even though I feel like it has to be there.
And I had made the point a couple weeks ago about how I could see JCB specifically not doing music related stuff because he might feel like he's lost his sense of what the average person would know about music because he probably knows so much. It might feel like hard to balance that.
Right.
The one thing that immediately comes to mind for me because I was just looking at it is first stanza of Joy's Serenade, which feels very music there somewhere.
A conductor with a baton, a note, a molten tone of a tune. So maybe it's like musical theme or language, but not like a musical clue having to do with notes on a staff, right?
Okay.
So how do we rank something like that if we know there's already musical language in Joy's Serenade? I don't know. Bryn?
I was gonna say put it as a D. I just think, I mean,
D.
I know people are gonna be
YouTube
upset,
comments,
but
get her.
this is, we can't say like we're saying this. We can't be ranking this based off of where everybody else is at in the hunt, because this is where we're at in the hunt.
Right.
And so if we don't feel like we've found the solid connections for it yet, like something that has to be the end of the spectrum. And for me, it's probably music.
Okay.
I agree with the things that you guys are saying.
The standard way I keep thinking about it is like, if he releases the 50 clues and there's nothing to do with music, I would be like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, that's
all right. I didn't expect it to end up in D, but I guess we're doing it. We're doing it.
Controversial.
Moving on. Locking it in. Olympics.
Olympics is a
It's a tough one for me because I feel like I love the idea of the Olympic rings meaning something, especially because it's that copyrightable image.
Yeah.
But outside of that, if that wasn't a clue, then I'm like D tier.
Right, because it's
there's not much else
too over. I mean, unless we are putting it as a clue to Olympic National Park.
That's true too. That
would bump it up, but I don't know what your guys' feelings are on that right now.
What happened when something went away when you put Olympics in there, Cody?
I think
Can we have a second one in there? Oh,
no,
okay, sorry.
We're all accounted
Fire,
for.
light, and music. I'm just placing it in B tier for a minute so I don't have to hold my mouse button down and hover it.
So your hand isn't fatigued.
Here, I'll put it in Bryn's bucket for now.
I think I was going to put Olympics in C.
I agree.
Because I feel like there's a lot of things that we're finding within the Olympics chapters that seem to be clues themselves. The ring image I love because of all the ring discussion in the book and the colors that go with the Olympic rings. The colors being such a widespread. So I could totally see the Olympic rings being a way that a lot of ideas are brought together, and they just overlay over the US so nicely. Not that that's like, the specific thing I'm endorsing here, but
and to have two different chapters about Olympics.
And
yeah.
And actually three different chapters, because the ancient Greece also discusses the Olympics as well, briefly. So that and a connection to St. Louis, you have to put at B at a minimum.
More likely or less likely than Fire and Light?
Slightly more likely. Yeah.
I think let's drop them all in, and I think once we get them all in, then we have to do a little baby shuffle potentially as well.
Okay.
Do you want to do that first? Get them all in the tiers and then go back through?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. All right. Next one, moving on. Mirror theme. C or D for me. I like the idea a lot, but there's not a ton of super hard references.
I think it's I'm really excited about the idea of there being these two halves of the book that somehow relate to each other. But I think it's maybe more of like a mechanical, like more of a tool to use some of the other clues than a clue in and of itself is kind of where I'm at right now, I think.
And I can see a lot of potential clues and ones that I endorse myself that have to do with like two sides of the book and stuff, or like a split, but not necessarily a true mirror. Like it's just a separation or like two sides of an axis. But to me, mirror is like some sort of actual reflection there. So D tier?
Yes.
I'm fine with D because I do know, and I don't know if the audience can see your image bank coming up, but I do know that we have Mississippi River, which I believe, like, I feel really good about the left and right concept, which I'm going to differentiate from mirror here.
Yeah. Next,
at risk of having Dr. R squared unsubscribe, reflecting on there's treasure inside at Substack.
We move on from something Brent had slides on today to something Blake had slides on today. French.
Yeah. French is hot right now. I feel like the French
gaining momentum.
The French end seems like something very tangible. Yeah. I feel like it's an A.
Ooh.
Really? But that's
that caught me off guard.
That's
I was targeting
recency.
I was targeting C.
Really?
Oh.
I feel like the French end is like a very tangible something, more so than anything we've talked about so far, besides like Olympics, if it relates to the Olympic Peninsula.
Yeah. Yeah, and it does seem strange that he'd use three different
it's so good.
French words. It is okay.
We could put it at B if you're angsty about it. We'll see.
I would be happy to put it in B. If you guys want to put it in A, I would do it under slight protest. Ever so slight protest.
Let's start with A.
I would say... Okay.
What were you going to say, Bryn?
Well, I was just going to argue maybe we put it in B for now because there are so many other French connections that we've made in the book.
Pokemon box?
No. I feel like everything, like all throughout every chapter, like, oh, well, this, relates back to French culture and somehow, or like etymology and other
everything
ways.
Everything leads to France or St. Louis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Olympics.
So I don't know if that like kind of like dilutes the French connection with the conclusion. I feel very strongly that the French words for conclusion are a thing. But I don't know if like French as a theme in general, because of all these other miscellaneous things, almost dilutes that. If that
I would
makes
say
sense.
So. What we're discussing basically is the three French words.
Okay, I like it in A.
So we'll leave it in A. Yeah. Even though it just says French on the tile,
it should say denouement.
It should say denouement. All right, next one. Goat.
Wow.
It's a weird one, but I think I would be so surprised if he's like, oh yeah, that horny as a goat and they drink goat's milk, ! Had nothing to do with a clue. It was just fun facts. And the way I wrote it, I'd be so surprised.
Yes.
Even though we have no idea what it means, I think it's something.
I think it has to be A tier on my list right now.
I was going to say A tier.
You think that's a little high, Bryn?
I was going to go B. But if you guys feel good about A, I'm excited. I love enthusiasm. They're all S.
It's a weird one because we haven't talked about it all that much and we don't have any real ideas about it. But it's at the same time, it's like, it just feels like it's got to be. It'd be so weird for it to not be something.
I mean,
that's true.
You guys all really liked the Wisconsin being goat capital of the United States, more than double the amount of goats of second place, California.
I like that a lot. It's not like super fun theory, but it's a very Occam's razor. Like, here's why he kept saying goat theory.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we have a tendency to overthink things. And so that would be just like a very reasonable answer to the question.
Colors. Oh boy. That's an impossible one to rank.
I'd rank it pretty low personally.
Really? I would be surprised if there wasn't. I mean, okay. I could see two sides. Like, I would be really surprised if there wasn't some color theme as part of the solve. But that being said, color is going to be a part of everything, particularly when we're talking about the types of treasures JCB collected for this, that they're all different colored gemstones. How could you not talk about it?
Yeah, I haven't seen a lot with color that jumps out to me like this just must be a clue. And it's, to me, it's almost like the equivalent of the boggling in the past and future, where there's just gonna be a bunch of references to color in a book, like you said about treasure. They're gonna be in there. It's gonna be hard not to draw some of your own conclusions there. It'd also be a very easy thing for there to be a clue about at the same time. So I think C or low B in my mind.
Would you consider blueprint part of the color theme, or is that its own thing?
I'd say that's separate.
A brilliant business blueprint seems like separate thing. Bryn, you have
I mean, remember, well, just think about that mailbag that I can't remember if it was Lisa or someone else sent it in months ago, and they did like the color analysis of some of the chapters. And the first one that comes to mind is chapter 4, the 96 karat Chivor Emerald. And we have, of course, the green emerald. And then we have that picture of Rob Levinsky holding the flame from the Red Ridge mine. And it has like the sun flare on it, but it has this like green tint cast over it as well. And then that whole AI image is like green smoky. I mean, like, even if you took that chapter alone, it really feels like there's significance with green in that. Maybe it's all stylistic choice, but it seemed like that was a theme over a few chapters. And again, then the red rubies.
Rubies to wear.
And again, I don't want you to think C and D tier are like, oh, we don't think this is good at all. Like,
you're right.
just by being on the list, we think that it is good and something that we're seriously considering.
C.
Bryn has spoken. C for colors.
You guys can also have input. That's my vote.
No, I think that's fine there. Next up, magnifying glass. This would specifically be the markings on the magnifying glass. This is another one that's a very tangible.
Yeah, I mean,
that's got to be an S.
I feel like it's an S. Yeah. If the magnifying glass was just an artifact from the publisher, that's crazy.
You wouldn't believe it.
No.
You'd lose your mind.
I would file a protest.
Especially with the text context that we have around it. It's like undeniable.
So many pointers to that. Yes. S tier.
All right. Do you think it's never? Not gonna talk forever. All right. Hopi calendar, underline, overline letters. This is another one that feels like it just has to be a clue, right? It's not just an accident.
No, it cannot be an accident. They're just so perfectly placed, and those lines don't show up anywhere else in that image. Yeah, that
exactly.
Yeah.
Actually, when we go talk about ranking these two, that's a good point. That we know that the underlines and overlines aren't in the other pictures of the calendars, where it was some small amount of gray area when we're looking at other pictures of the magnifying glass.
Fair.
Next one. Oh, Blake, triangular numbers.
Yeah. I mean, you would think I would fight super hard for this. I mean, I would say low S or high A, like probably S tier. I mean, that's just,
I'm kind of thinking it's going to be the top of the A.
I mean, it's just so there, and it points potentially to the Olympic rings as well. Bryn, you can be the tiebreaker here.
What do you mean connect to the Olympic rings? Oh,
remember the 136, page 136. If you go downwards from the triangular numbers that are presented in the basketball chapter, they point to potentially point to page 136, which are the missing triangular numbers that we don't have in the chapter, and that is the Olympic rings, which is, I mean, it feels like
I'm happy to put it at the lowest end of S at the moment, because the other two are like they are physically there, confirmed. I mean, the number sequence is there for okay. Yeah. I like it there.
If the solve comes out and the triangular numbers are like, oh, that's just a coincidence,
that's crazy.
I'd be surprised, but I wouldn't be like I'd be very surprised, but I wouldn't be like something's wrong.
No.
Not on the same level as like the Hopi calendar. So, okay. All right. Butterfly.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like the butterfly doesn't get talked about enough. And people still talk about our unbreakable thread and kind of ignore the butterfly in discussions, which is silly to me. Because we know that it was added after. So, but I'm okay. Like, because I've never had a great butterfly connection, I'm fine with it at like an A. What do you guys think?
I was thinking A. I was basically everything you said is what I think. I think it's under talked about. I think I'd be very, very surprised if it's not part of a clue, but I wouldn't be.
And remember when this is not things we could take into consideration, but just when he was doing those interviews, like the 1-year anniversary interviews, and he had like his bookshelf behind him of like his treasure hunting memorabilia for this hunt, and it just had this good big picture of a butterfly. Like there's very much something there. I think it could definitely end up being something that's just more thematic than like tangible clue. Mm-hmm. But I do think there is 100% it's going to be something to do with a butterfly that has to do with the solve.
Remember when he was doing interviews as well?
So this one, it's always funny when people say we know. So there's a little asterisk next to that. But here's the question. We know from the artist that you added the butterfly to your other book, The Unbreakable Thread. Why did you do it, and what does it represent to you?
Well, I may have to punt on that question.
Fair.
I will say, like, the saying that I added a butterfly, I personally did not like have any access to those files. But anyway, I'm gonna punt on that.
Yeah,
that's a true punt. So
yeah,
okay.
And I mean, like it's we don't need to make any more justification, but the fact that the butterfly was on the copyright page, and then we have the butterfly symbol on this butterfly page, like copyright page. It has to be something, right?
Yes.
Eclipse.
Ooh, eclipse.
This is like the inverse of goat in my mind. So like on goat, we have no answers, but it must be something. And eclipse is like, we have a ton of theories, but I also feel like it could just be nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It could just not be part of the clues.
I was going to say D, because it's very much just like us speculating versus hard evidence, like you're saying.
I agree.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, we've put together ideas with the arc, right? The waxing, lots of moon connections, some sun connections, and the kind of binning that into an eclipse idea. But it's a little bit shaky, I would say. So I agree with that. Oh,
the release date of the book.
Interesting. I think it's low for me. I mean, the thing that brings me back to the release date of the book is the email he sent on the 1-year anniversary, right? Which was the email he sent on the day the book was supposed to be released, instead of the 1-year anniversary of the day the book was actually released. So that has always bolstered that being important. But how much can you do with the release date of the book? Really? other than connecting it to Back to the Future, which has been discussed a lot, the Goonies potentially, but is it really a tangible clue? I don't know.
I'm trying to think back to that habeas treasurous video where he was doing, he had the specific date and time and how he tied that into like a zip code in another treasure hunt. I think it was the breakfast tea and bourbon. And then he had made a connection with the shipwreck chapter to a specific zip code and everything. So yeah, I mean, you could do a similar approach somehow with this, but
Okay.
I would personally put it as a D.
Me too.
Okay. We're in agreement.
Beyond a pistol.
Beyond pistol. So there are these 3 buckets over on the right-hand side.
Right.
If something doesn't make the tier list and it's just
it's just a fun thought. And someone's favorite line in the book.
Someone's favorite line in the book.
I don't feel like it needs to sit over in Blake's bucket though. I think if we're gonna agree that we're labeling this Beyond Pistol, but it's a broader theme of like
insects or flowers or excitement.
Like botanical.
Yeah. It's the
Like
lowest D tier.
I almost think it's gonna somehow tie in with butterflies, to be honest.
The pollen. Yeah. It's either off the list or D tier.
If it's off the list, it goes in Blake's bucket.
Yeah.
I think it's Blake's bucket. I want a reason to have these here. I made them.
Okay.
I should have made one that says hand theme for Bryn. I should have made one that says saying macroscopic for Cody.
Well, hand theme would not end up in Bryn's bucket because that's an S.
Moving on. Cherry tree.
Interesting.
So
we could say just the cherry tree in general. In my mind, it's more of like, I think the line on the left side of the cherry tree and then that big cherry.
Okay.
Something to do with that. And maybe the left, right. Those are kind of the 3 things we've identified in that picture. I think I'd be surprised if if the answer was released and there was no cherry tree on it for anything, but I wouldn't be super surprised.
You'd have to be. That big old cherry is just a nothing.
Yeah, it's AI images. I mean, it makes weird stuff sometimes.
But I couldn't reproduce it. Remember that I asked for a big cherry and it never did it. So I feel like with Midjourney, the versions that JCB was using, I feel like the big cherry is a real suspect. So I'm okay with it in D or C even.
That low?
Okay.
Low?
Okay.
That's
I was thinking B.
Okay.
What were you thinking, Bryn?
A or B? Because higher than, I would say A compared to Fire, Light, and Olympics.
Well, they're still going to get ordered within the tiers.
It's got to be high. No, it's got to be higher than the goat.
Maybe just put it here.
We put it in A for now. We can discuss.
Bryn refuses to let this go any lower than A, so it is going in A tier.
Okay, I could maybe be talked into B, but I just think it's like that would be why. Even if it's just an AI generated image, you're making a treasure hunt book where he's confirmed the images are next to critical to solving this. If you create an AI image that just generates something so weird, you have to fix it. Otherwise, it would just be a huge red herring.
About the heart, people making a heart.
I'm less convinced that that's I do think it's something. I think it's much less of an argument that that's something than this cherry tree.
All right.
I'm going to put it in B with the expectation that we're going to move it pretty high in B when we're done here. I would do A if Blake didn't start by saying C or D.
Sorry.
So he's averaging it out to B. This is probably our highest variance one though so far.
It'd be a fun touch for the shows if we all had our like blood pressure or our heart rate live stream on this show. Like we all need to wear a Whoop band. Maybe we can get sponsored by Whoop. When like they have the athletes during like the US Open and stuff, they'll show their heart rate.
Or during the World Series of Poker.
Do they have it there?
They did many years ago.
Oh, I love it.
Roadmap.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole chapter about it, right? So it's pretty high in my mind that there has to be a roadmap component or mapping on top of the US component. I'd be shocked if it weren't something in the final solve.
A.
Cody?
It's the gut feeling B for me.
I'd push it up into A.
All right, we'll do A. Yeah, to me, it's just one of those things where it could be more metaphorical, general about just a treasure hunt and not any specific clues where you're actually doing the overlay. But
Okay.
I'm fine going A with you guys. Speaking of A.
Oh, geez.
AAA, BBB, CCC, Ancient Asian Art, Better Business Blueprint, Brilliant Business
Brilliant.
Blueprint.
100,
There's a C one too.
100 hamsters.
Herding 100 hamsters.
Interesting. I mean,
And then you had found the county road signs. That were like road EEE.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not all that convinced that's the connection, but there's just a couple too many weird ones in the book that it feels like it has to be something. Even the alliterations of the chapter names, right? Tiffany's furnace and Thoreau's fire. I feel like it has to be something, but I'm okay with it in B or C, to be honest.
I was gonna say C.
I was going to say C too.
Okay.
Oh, baby. The best one. S plus tier. S plus is probably another thing you're not familiar with, Bryn.
I'm not. Thank you.
The problem with this is
He goes up here.
no, the problem is that he mentions like tapestry and weaving in his emails. And he's not supposed to be giving clues in his emails, according to him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, as much as I love it, and I feel like I've really, really, really tied my name to the weaving one, it does feel like the kind of thing where it could be his super overarching general way of talking about things, and have nothing to do with any specific clues, and just be like one of his big trope theme things he uses to write
something to tie the book around, but not necessarily a clue. Yeah.
So I'm fine with D, because if it was not one of the 50 clues, I could live with that, and I wouldn't even be super surprised or anything. But it's my baby. All right, this one bears no discussion. S tier, missing page 90.
I think.
Yeah,
that's fine.
It's literally confirmed.
Mississippi River, some sort of clue connection to the Mississippi River.
Whether that's the missing page 90 or the cherry tree or the left right. What else could it be? Mississippi River. St. Louis, close to the Mississippi River.
Yeah.
So
a lot of my solves that were not focused on the Mississippi River ended up leading me to the Mississippi River. It also just really feels like when you're talking about the continental United States and this big treasure hunt, that's just like such a prominent feature right down the middle of it. That being said, I feel like we've got a lot of theories that have legs, but maybe aren't like. I don't think we have any that would be surprised. A lot of the theories we have, I feel like there are alternate theories for each one of them that also have legs.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing for me.
So what are you thinking?
I'm thinking C.
Yeah. I mean, okay, you could put it there for now. I would argue that some of those other things in D would be stronger than Mississippi River, like weaving, for example. I'm more confident in weaving than Mississippi River, but
Okay. A good D. Yeah, so you think, Brent?
I don't know.
Some of these I think I just have rose-colored glasses for because it seems like they come up in a lot of theories, but we don't have any real hard evidence, right?
Right.
I'm just trying to remind myself that D is still very prominent.
Yes.
Yes. If being on the list means it's something we really like. Honestly, release date probably shouldn't have even been on the list because I don't think we'd be surprised if that's just not a clue at all.
You want to put it in your bucket?
I don't want to put in Brent's bucket.
Okay.
I don't want it. Just put it at the end of D.
All right. Two more. Celestial. This is a pretty vague one.
Yeah, I mean,
I would have.
Go ahead.
Oh, I would have just. I guess I kind of actually do like that it's differentiated from Eclipse because I do feel like Celestial is like a very real thing in the book, where Eclipse is something we've kind of made up or like created our own hypothesis. I would put Celestial as C.
Interesting. I mean, we have the picture of the boy looking at the stars. If we have some sort of constellation connection, I mean, we have the Mars rover names, Perseverance, Sojourner. You had those connections with Vega, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there are potential pointers to those, but nothing we've really locked down. They're all theories. I'm okay with it in D. You have to break the tie.
What about
Brent, you said C?
Like, yeah, what about him saying like waxing and like potential North Star, Cardinal North?
Yeah.
And all the moon rock, the whole chapter.
Or lockers full. Yeah, I'm we can start and see if it moves.
Okay. Well, when we get to the end, are we moving them between tiers still?
Yeah, we can. If something's out of place.
All right. Last one. This is actually really nice spread on them. I was worried they were going to be like all B's and all S's. Nice spread. Last one. Brain.
Yeah.
To me, this is another release date one to me where I feel like it's sub D.
Interesting.
Oh no. Oh.
Oh, Brent does not agree.
Let me pull up some documents.
So
let me get to my brain/nervous system tab.
Yeah, I feel like this exercise is uncomfortable. There's a lot we don't know.
Yes. Can I read a few supporting quotes here?
Yes.
So we read this once already. The brain synapse that normally receives an image from my retina, ... It's possible my brain just could not conceive of what this book would become in that moment. I still get a slight tingle down my spine.
Mm-hmm.
D.
Wormed its way inside my skull.
Mm-hmm.
A ping of excitement in my belly. I don't know. I feel like there's enough there that I would give it. It feels crazy to put it higher than weaving.
Yeah, I'm okay with it in D.
D's fine.
But
D's
I think
fine.
it should be on the list.
Okay. What do you mean by this? This is uncomfortable, Blake.
I don't know. I feel like we're probably missing a lot of things.
Just on the list in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
And like, I think I don't know. I feel pretty good about this list, but how many things that need to be connected to figure out a location from all of this junk? Like, how are we supposed to do that?
Yeah.
Don't get discouraged. Think about we spent all episode talking about how we're making momentum.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm really excited about your nautical miles. I mean, that all ties in
Yeah, like
perfectly with what we were talking about with the latitude and degrees.
Ship or starship. Ship or airplane should probably be one on here, something. But yeah, I apologize. I didn't know we were going to talk about this tonight. I forgot. So I could have given you a few more, but I feel like people are going to be mad. We're missing certain things. I don't know.
That's all right. Feel free to comment, everybody, for things we're missing. I think we need to start doing this more routinely. I mean, obviously not every week by any means, but like every couple months or something. I think it's a really good gauge of progress and where we're at. Yeah. And it's almost like getting to do 20 what's more likely's to kind of get a better feel of, for me, what you two are thinking about things, because I've been surprised by a couple of these. So helps us find our North Star together as a group.
Lift me up on your wings, Cody.
All right. I'll do some fine tuning here and we'll lock this in for our, will this be July 2026 tier list?
Very nice.
Right, I think number 90 page missing is the obvious number one. How do I move these? I think I can only drag this way. 2 to me is Hopi Calendar.
Okay.
That makes me so happy. I feel like that's my biggest contribution to this treasure hunt so far was those little underlines. I'm so happy. I'm sure other people found them before, but that was like I felt like my biggest discovery. Oh, maybe the butterfly. That was like the most exciting moment to be like, oh, the butterfly. Oh, what a thrill. See how far we've come?
Yeah.
We're making great progress.
So missing page 90, then Hopi Calendar. The other 3, talk amongst yourselves. I'm open to different.
I would go 90, Hopi Calendar, magnifying glass, butterfly, triangular. Actually, I would put magnifying glass before Hopi Calendar lines.
What? I have the mouse and I refuse to do that.
But just, I mean, think about the pointers.
So much context.
Yeah, think about the pointers in the book. We don't have any pointers to the Hopi Calendar. That's a standalone clue. But
yeah, we don't have any pointers to missing page 90, but that just feels so overt to me. Like
we do have pointers to that too.
Really? You guys think there's a better chance if one of those 2 things is not a clue, Hopi Calendar lines or magnifying glass, you think it's going to be Hopi Calendar?
No.
This is mind-boggling.
I would put magnifying glass after Hopi Calendar.
Really?
Yeah, but
I just feel like in the text there's all these things. Well, maybe because you just felt like we needed more guidance to find them.
And you could imagine that looking for details applies to the whole book as well.
Or even something else.
Or something else.
That is also detailed.
Yep.
Triangular numbers butterfly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one? No, I'm asking question mark.
I don't care. They're both equal to me.
They're about equal to me too.
I would personally put butterfly before just because we have the fact that he had it added into our breakable thread.
He punted on the question. I would have put triangular numbers higher until Blake played the sound clip. But those are very close, I think, in my book as well.
Yeah, triangular numbers. That was Alex from the Mailbag sent that in. Like, I don't know, probably 6 months before it came out on Discord. We were sitting on that one for a while, but we've added to it since. I think with some nice connections.
A tier, we've got French, Goat, and Roadmap. I know which one's top for me. I'm guessing it's not actually going to be what's top for you guys.
Yeah, I
French
need to
goat
remember that
roadmap.
French is the French 3 words.
Yep.
The conclusion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at B tier. Like, does Olympics belong up there too? I guess not. I don't know. I would say, I mean, French just because of recency bias for me. I'd say roadmap, I think, is a little more important than goats.
I was going to go Goat first.
That's fine. You could put goat first. That's just too out of place. Are you horny as a goat?
Yeah. Goat, it feels like a weird one to me, like even standing out in this whole list. Because, I mean, I guess I just said it earlier, but it's like we never talk about it. And we have we have the Wisconsin theory. I don't know. I'd go Goat first, and then the other two are about equal to me. I could be, but if you guys want to put Goat after, I'm happy to do that too.
I would be happy to do Goat, French, roadmap.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. Goat. And is it goat? Is it a goat itself, or is it a horn / antler theme? You think the goat itself is?
My intention was not to include the antler possibility from Hopi Calendar, but it was basically the 3 or 4 things he says that are out of place. They drink goat's milk, horny as a goat, a couple other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
That those have to do with some clue.
Michael Jordan, greatest of all time. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
I'd be so surprised
Goat.
if that wasn't something.
Goat piss rum.
That's right. I forgot about that one. Good.
Yeah,
good.
that just feels. And it also has the added benefit or distinctness of clearly not being a theme in some of the ways that these other ones could. Like roadmap, you could see how that could be like a theme, a metaphor, but not an actual clue. There's no theme of, I'm going to do vulgar goat phrases.
Yeah.
There's like has to be something. So, all right, B tier, Olympics, Firelight, Cherry Tree.
And you want to move Cherry Tree up? I wouldn't move it up above
B.
Yeah, I wouldn't move it above Olympics, in my opinion. I could do that though. Moving Cherry Tree a little higher than Fire and Light.
I
Moth to a fiery flame.
And like the opposite. I would do probably like I think I'd have to do Cherry Tree, Firelight, Olympics. Like I think there's a world where the Olympics just don't end up being like I'm not saying I think there's a world where Olympics could just be like the byproduct of some of these things and not necessarily like be a clue in and of itself. I'm not saying that's the case. I think that's the argument that I can make. Whereas like, I don't think there's a world where the cherry tree isn't something, a clue. And I don't think there's a world where fire and light could possibly end up not being a clue.
Okay.
Where I do think Olympics is, I'm just saying I could see a world where it could be like what Cody was saying almost with weaving. Like just more like general thematic than clue itself. But
this whole B tier, all 3 of them share the same property to me. That's funny, where it's like I could see any of these 3 being like one of the biggest clues, or not a clue at all.
Yeah, I'm
Well, you guys adjust these because are you okay with this, Blake? Because I know you didn't like
pick up the torch.
You went Olympics first
from Aldrin and Armstrong.
And I definitely do think Olympics, in my mind, the significance there could be within the bucket of fire and light in my mind.
A molten tone of a tune. Yeah, I'm fine with this order. It doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah. All three for me are pretty interchangeable order wise. So, okay, we'll stick with that. C tier, colors, AAA, Celestial.
Out of those three, I like AAA the most.
I do too.
Me
Okay.
too.
Should it be B tier then?
If you want, it would probably be the lowest on the B tier for me.
Right.
Because I could still see a world where
Yeah.
that's just coincidence.
Okay.
I guess all those weird alliteration instances, yeah, it could be hinting at something else.
We're just not
should we
hinting
have
at anything.
herding 100 hamsters? Yeah, I don't know. I'm fine with it there. Should we have
Okay.
had like the decaying pile of catnip?
Yeah. Yeah, that's probably one that's missing. A lion atop a decaying mountain of catnip. It's all right. We'll do this another time.
Yep.
We'll keep
I'm sure there's
bitterweed.
lots we're missing that people will comment, and I will add them on here.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. Celestial and colors. I mean, I feel like colors has more of a chance than celestial. That's just me.
Yeah. And colors could definitely tie in with Olympics too.
Mm-hmm. Right. I'm fine with that.
Oof.
Music, mirror. I mean, mirror, I think, should probably be top of this list, followed by weaving. And then maybe
Mirror, weaving, Mississippi River. To me,
Like-
weaving and Mississippi River would be the top two, but I'm fine with mirror if you guys like mirror.
Oh, okay.
I think rain is second to last and release date is last.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could go brain, eclipse, release date.
Yeah, I would put honestly Eclipse second to last.
Mirror,
Yeah.
weaving, Mississippi River, music, brain, eclipse, release date.
I like that order.
I
quite
think
a bit.
Mississippi River. Okay.
You
Go
think
ahead.
it's what? High or
Low.
low?
I think it's high. Like, I mean, I feel like
Really?
we have tangible things for brain, and we're
Yeah.
just kind of
We're fitting Mississippi. I could move Mississippi down a little bit. Cody doesn't
I
like
would put
Cody.
Mississippi River before Eclipse.
I put Mississippi River in Cody's bucket.
All right, I'll take it. I will happily
I'm
take it.
just joking. I'm joking.
It's mine now. It's in there.
No, because I do really like it with 90 and
You talked a lot of trash about it. Now it's in my bucket.
St. Louis. St.
Well,
Louis.
put it back. Put it back before Eclipse, please.
Great. All right.
Thank you.
Version 1. Version 1.0.
I think mirror is too high, but whatever.
No.
Music. Okay. Let's reassess in a few weeks. I like this. When we get more submissions, people will drop other ideas in the comments.
And honestly, we probably missed a couple big ones, and we may even need to just like remove all of tier D and then recalibrate with some other ones that we missed.
Yeah.
Because stuff like
Can
release
you-
date probably doesn't need to be on there. I think if it's on here, I feel like we should like expect it to be a clue. And I don't even really expect release date to be a clue. I don't even really expect Eclipse to be a clue either. There's a couple at the very end I'd be willing to drop off.
Is this something you can like say? Is this a live thing that just continue to live that we can add to and edit?
We'll talk about that offline, Brandon. We'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Cool. This was a great exercise. I will point out there's only, 21 things on here out of 50 that we need. So we still have a ways to go.
Yes.
That was fun.
That was fun.
Awesome.
I liked that. Thank you for setting that up.
Well done. Well done.
Good
Right.
discussion. It's always so interesting. I just always expect in my mind that we have the same thoughts on things. And then we don't. And it's interesting. And I'm sure there's people who just yelled at their computers during the whole process.
That could have been extremely frustrating for some people. Sorry. But I like that. I like that we're doing it in a little bit of a vacuum here. Yeah. Next one, put your comments in. What are we missing? But yeah, very interesting exercise. I like it.
Yeah, it was good.
Great. I think that's episode. We went a little long, but not as long as I was expecting. All right. I'm going to log off. Have a good night, everybody.
Searching for clues